As they do every Monday, we're joined by two of the best right now. Former Resources Minister and MP for Hinkler, Keith Pitt, and Sky News host Gary Hargrave. Gentlemen, welcome. We've got three blokes stepping up, and the
Cory.
first thing we're going to tackle is women's sport. And netball is the name of it.
Why not?
Who knew that such an innocuous sport could cause such a kerfuffle in the wake of Gina Reinhart, rightly, in my opinion, pulling $15 million in funding after the team members, of course, refused to wear her company logo. In comes Daniel Andrews. Have a look at this.
This is a coup for our state. This is all about supporting netball, and of course our government has such a strong track record of doing that. We have supported netball very strongly, and this is just a really fantastic day for us to have been able to secure this sponsorship deal.
Gary, do you remember all the talk was about another woke sponsor stepping up? There will be no shortage of them coming in. This is a desperate thing. Are you surprised by this announcement?
Well, it certainly is a woke sponsor because Victoria is the place that's gone woke and is going broke. We've got a state government that's lost complete touch with what things cost and who pays for it. They're $164 billion already, state debt. Their deficit this year has blown out to $10 billion, so they're spending $10 billion more than they're bringing in. Their wages bill for state public servants gone up by $4.5 billion this year. Cory, this is, pretty typical of a mob that have lost complete touch with the real world. Now, I get it. Netball's a great grassroots sport. We love netball. But I don't think it's the job of government to be telling people to come and visit Victoria when Victorians themselves, well, they've decided the place, Victoria should be the place to flee. They're leaving the place in droves.
Keith, that's, I think, a very good point. And, of course, the elephant in the room, there's an election coming up. Andrews steps in. He basically commandeers the national team to make them resident in Victoria. That's just not on. It's a bit cynical, Keith. Is that right?
Cory, I've been astounded by this. Most Australians I know would crawl over broken glass if it meant putting the green and gold on. And the fact that we've now got players demanding who their sponsors may or may not be. Well, I've got news for them. The Victorian government gets a big chunk of change from royalties from, guess what? The resources sector. So this is a part of the way that they pay their bill. And, mate, I love netball as much as the next person. And I love our Australian teams. They're always out having a crack. But I feel really sorry for Gina. She is a passionate individual. She's very generous. And she's an absolute patriot that loves Australia. And to get caught up in this, I just think it's a debacle.
Yeah, and God forbid if a Victorian government in the past has said something to malign anyone, of course the players might decide to boycott again. Let's stick with the People's Republic of Victoria for a moment. It's been revealed that Federal Immigration, Citizenship and Multicultural Affairs Minister Andrew Giles has been the star attraction at 4 of Daniel Andrews' election fundraisers, pocketing donations from Victorians' Indian and Tamil communities. Gary, this stinks to high heaven. It feels like an obvious conflict of interest to me. What do you make of it?
Look, having been a Minister for Citizenship and Multicultural Affairs, I get it. A lot of communities want to know you, want to meet you, want to put a case for why their particular community should be considered and considered dearly by a minister. So it's important that Andrew Giles, in some slight defence, actually gets out and meets people. But the trouble is all of these forums seem to be state fundraising events. And so, we're kind of established what he's doing. We're just now haggling the price a bit, Cory. And so it does have a pong about it. And the problem for the massive and wonderful Indian community and the Tamil community, this Diwali period, is that it's kind of demeaned what is an enlightening time, a celebration time. This is kind of their Christmas. And to actually bring politics into that is a bit akin to door knocking on Christmas Day. So I think Giles has kind of got the taste test wrong on this. And I think in a lot of ways it's very embarrassing to the Indian community as well.
Yeah, it is a bit disappointing, I think, for them to be used politically in this way. Well, it was the useless budget last week that does nothing for cost of living. It's got Australian families worried, and now, as I said at the top of the show, there is a huge energy crisis already here and worse to come. Keith, do you think Australians are actually ready for what is coming down the electricity pipe and is going to hit their household budgets and business budgets, I should say, too?
Well, Jim Chalmers' statement to The Australian was he wants Australians to be conditioned. They don't need to be conditioned, they just need help. And when it comes to energy, well, it's pretty clear. You need more gas supply, and you need it in Victoria. And what have they done in the budget? Well, they've cut all the support measures to bring on more gas, and particularly for the Beetaloo and other basins. They've cut the measures to bring on more infrastructure so that gas can be delivered. And they've funded the Environmental Defender's Office, whose prime job seems to be out there shutting down resource projects, particularly gas. I mean, they've just shut down Barossa offshore, a $5 billion project.
Yeah,
it's just extraordinary, isn't it? And we could have avoided all of this.